Rejoice, everyone, we're back with another Sekhie Reacts to Fate. This week is Ashiya, Dōman, and kinda Abe no Seimei. Oh, and did I mention we'll also be covering Caster from Fate Samurai Remnant, so spoilers alert if you haven't played that.
I don't think I've seen Caster from Fate Samurai Remnant, have I?
Don't think you have.
Nice. Now, what Knickknack's not telling you is Ashiya Dōman came with a list of like 7 other names. Starting with kind of the understandable Abe no Seimei, Fujiwara no Akimatsu, you know, getting in a little bit of the funky stuff, talking about like Hieda no Are or Yaso Magatsuchi, which I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. And then completely derailing into It's Papalotl and Chernabog, which just seems entirely unrelated and irrelevant. But who am I to say that something from
the other side of the fucking globe at a different time period?
Yeah. I was gonna say I can't in good conscience say Slavic mythology because, well, we'll get into that. But yeah. So, Ashiya Dōman. Now, Ashiya Dōman, possibly also known as Doma Hoshi, was an onmyoji. An onmyoji is a person who uses their knowledge of astronomy, calendars, and divine good fortunes to determine dates and times for general and personal affairs based on the onmyodo, the ideas of yin and yang, and the 5 elements Chinese philosophies. We know that he was active during the Heian period, specifically during the reign of Emperor Ichigo, but we do not have a birth year or death year for him. What I can say is that Emperor Ichiro was the 66th emperor of Japan, whose reign spanned between 986 and 1011. He reigned over what's considered to be largely the culmination of culture during the Heian period, as well as the highest point of power that the Fujiwara clan ever attained. He came to the throne after a period of political instability caused by the Fujiwara clan when they successfully got rid of the Minamoto clan, their political rivals, and the internal power struggle ended with the untimely deaths of 3 different emperors, and Ichigo being appointed emperor. He was significantly influenced by his uncle, Fujiwara no Michinaga, and if we look at the Kugyo, the name for the name for the group of 3 to 4 politically powerful men attached to the court of Japan in pre-Meiji era, then the list of those present during his reign is, I think, 9 Fujiwaras and 1 person with another last name. So, very influenced by the Fujiwaras. He also had 2 empresses and 4 known consorts, all of which were from the Fujiwara clan, and 2 of his sons, Emperor Go-Ichigo and Emperor Go-Suzaku, reigned after him. We know very little about Ashiya Dōman's career, other than that he was a rival to Abe no Seimei, one of the men considered to be the founder of the way of onmyodo, and Ashiya Dōman was generally considered his negative counterpart. He was said to have the ability to spellcast using jujutsus, and would often try and embarrass Seimei to serve his own position. There's one story says he challenged him to a divination duel to reveal the contents of a box, and he employed another person to put 15 mandarins in the box, and then divined that there were 15 mandarins, but Seimei metamorphosized them all to rats, and declared that there were 15 rats in the box, and therefore won. Eventually, he was defeated in battle by Abe no Seimei using Shikigami, and exiled to the Harima province. Abe no Seimei at the time was employed by Fujiwara no Michinaga, and Ashiya Dōman was employed by Fujiwara no Akimitsu. The emperor at the time had the consorts who were daughters of both of these people. Akimitsu had a grudge against Michinaga because his daughter was the wife of the next emperor of Japan, the one who would go on to become Go-Ichigo, Prince Atsuyakira, but he abandoned her to marry Michinaga's daughter. Stories say that this caused his daughter to fall ill and die, so Akimitsu employed Dōman to hex Michinaga. The curse would then cause all of Fujiwara no Michinaga's daughters to die, and people who feared Akimitsu for what they assumed to be his demonic power would call him the demonic minister of the left. Ashiya Dōman's legends spread through Asia at the same time and way that Abe no Seimei's did, and they've remained relevant in relation to one another ever since. Contrastingly, we do actually have a pretty fair amount of information for Abe no Seimei. We know he was born in February of 921 and lived until October of 1005. During his life, he worked for several emperors of the Heian government and primarily advised on spiritually correct ways to deal with issues relating to the practice of onmyodo. Many of the stories surrounding him are somewhat similar to those surrounding Merlin, rising from his death and power, and many of them are detailed in the Konjaku Monogatari, with stories in circulation focusing on his heroic acts. We don't have a super clear picture of his ancestry, as he might have been descended from Abe no Masuki, who was a master of the palace table, or Abe no Shinzei, who was a kokushi of Awaji. Another option is perhaps Abe no Miyushi, who appeared as a minister of the right in the Tale of the Bamboo Cutter, and there are some stories that say he might have been a descendant of Abe no Nakamaru, whose Chinese name was Chen Hao. Now, Abe no Nakamaru was a waka, or a poet, that was present when we did our Tamamo no Mai video, which I mentioned his name because I said that what was interesting about him was that he was, according to some people, the mythological ancestor of Abe no Seimei. But that was also in relation to something that we're going to talk about in a second. According to William Anderson's work, he was a descendant of the poet Abe no Nakamaru and a disciple of Kame no Tadayuki and Kamo no Yasunari, who were court diviners before him. He became their successor. His duties included analyzing strange events, rites of geomancy, warding evil spirits away, and conducting exorcisms. According to the Konjaku Monogatari, he was the one who correctly predicted the abdication of Emperor Kazan based on observation of celestial phenomena. Because of his reputation and growth in popularity, the ministry of onmyodo was controlled by the Abe clan, and they became that hereditarily. The 5-point star that we call the pentagram in the West is called in Japan the Seiman, or the seal of Abe no Seimei, or Seimei Kikyo, and is associated with the Chinese 5 elements and onmyodo. Some stories say he was not entirely human, and that his father Abe no Yasuna was a human, but his mother was a fox spirit called Kuzunoha, and because of this he was able to command from an early age weak demons to do his bidding. One of his most popular legends revolves around the magical duels that he had with Ashiya Dōman, but he does also appear as a minor character in the Heike Monogatari, responsible for finding Shuten Doji, so that they could be slain by Minamoto no Yorimitsu. And, according to some stories, he's the onmyoji who discovered Tamamo no Mai's true nature, although this doesn't actually occur during his lifetime, so many credit the act to his descendant, named Abe no Yasuchika, which, if he is both the descendant of Abe no Nakamura and the father of, or the ancestor of Abe no Yasuchika, that would mean that he is in the middle of being sandwiched in 2 parts of Tamamo no Mai's tale, because Abe no Nakamaru was part of Tamamo no Mai's tale.
Ah, yes, the Han cinematic universe.
So after his death, he was honored. The Emperor Ichigo made a shrine in his honor. The shrine was destroyed in the 15th century, but its rebuilt stands today, and it attracts fans of his legend from all over the world. The Japanese figure skater Yuzuru Hanyu, the 2-time Olympic champion, in his Olympic free skate program named it Seimei and used the soundtracks from the movies Onmyoji 1 and Onmyoji 2, and this performance enabled him to become the first figure skater across all disciples to score over 200 points in a free skate, setting back-to-back world records from the 2015 to 2016 season, and contributing to the win of his second Olympic title in 2018 and the completion of his first career Super Slam in 2020.
How the fuck did I know that you were going to bring that up?
Look, I love Yuzuru Hanyu. And not even, like, some people are going to be like, oh, you love Yuzuru Hanyu because of, like, the connection to Yuri on Ice. No. I have loved Yuzuru Hanyu as a figure skater since before Yuri on Ice was even a thing.
She's not like you normies.
I was a figure skater as a child.
A likely story.
There are photos of me in this house. But yes, I follow figure skating. So yeah. Anyways, I had to bring it up. Onmyoji and Abe no Seimei are mentioned in countless novels, films, TV shows, games, manga, and anime all across Asian media. And Abe no Seimei is generally considered to have a very close relationship with Lord Taizan, or Taizan Fukun, the central deity of Onmyodo, who presides over life and death. Now, let's talk about characters that don't make any sense.
Whatsoever.
Eats Papa Lotl. Knick-knack, can you say Eats Papa Lotl?
Eats Papa Lotl?
Yay! So we've talked about Aztec religion a little bit before, but we're going to talk about it a teeny tiny bit more. Itzpapalotl, also known as the obsidian butterfly translated into English, is depicted often as a death goddess and a warrior with a skeletal visage, sometimes called the Queen of Tzitzimime, said to hold dominion over the paradise world of Tamaquanchan, which is where victims of infant mortality reside, and the place identified as where humans are created. She's the mother of Mishkawato, as well, also known as Kamashli or Kamashle, the god of the hunt, identified as the Milky Way. While we attribute her name to mean obsidian butterfly, it could also mean clawed butterfly, which might possibly refer to a bat, and sometimes she is depicted with bat wings. However, she has also been depicted with butterfly and eagle attributes, so this could just be picking and choosing about how you want to display your god. Her wings are usually tipped in obsidian or flint knives, and in the manuscript of 1558, she's described as having blossomed into the white flint, and then they took the white and wrapped it in a bundle. There's also a chance that she could be identified with the Zapotec deity named goddess T.H.E, but we don't know. She is the patron deity of the day, and she's associated with the star called Cosquatli. And in the Aztec calendar, her day is Trecenta 1 house. This is one of the Western Trecenta dates, and it's dedicated to Chihuatateo women who died in childbirth. She is considered to be one of these, and she's also one of the Tzimi star demons who devour people during solar eclipses. And the ritual surrounding her has to do with the creation story of the Chichimeque. The Chichimeque is the name for the Nahua peoples of Mexico. The Chichimeque is the name the Nahua peoples of Mexico ascribed to nomads and semi-nomadic peoples of the area. According to the manuscript of 1558, she is one of two-headed deer that are divine, who transform themselves into women to seduce men, men who are actually cloud serpents transformed into men. It's Papalotl. Now my favorite part.
Oh no, the Russian is awake.
Well, okay, so Chernobog. This is a person I have investigated Chernobog before, right? And I think I got onto this because I had a friend who, and keep in mind, obviously I wasn't raised with like Slavic gods, but I had a friend who asked like if Russians had like a pre-Christian belief system, right? Because a lot of places have pre-Christian belief systems, but the problem with Russian history and mythology and Slavic history in general, actually, not even Russian, Slavic, is that the primary chronicle of Slavic peoples is written very late, right? And it's written by a Christian monk. And you know who else has a problem where the primary chronicles of their people are Christian? The Norse. And what do we say about the Norse and Celtic stuff? What we have is heavily influenced by the Christian writers that wrote about it. Now, the maybe the only good thing about Norse and Celtic stuff is you do have occasional inscriptions, and you've got stories written like the sagas and stuff. You don't really have that in Slavic like history, and there aren't really epics and such. Like, it just doesn't happen. I mean, writing was brought to the Slavic peoples by a Christian saint. So it's the writing is tied intrinsically with Christianity, and so primary chronicles that don't have Christian influence are sadly lacking in every way. So Chernobog, literally called Black God, right? Because Chorne, black, and Belabog, Biele, white God, are purportedly Slavic deities, Western Slavic deities, that we would call Pelagian deities, so native to the Western Slavic population. They appear in the Chronicle of the Slavs, which is a medieval chronicle recounting pre-Christian culture, but written by a Saxon priest and historian. So the question of the way they're described is, of course, always that, is this actually a thing? In many ways, it's similar to Norse mythology. I mentioned this before. I went out of order in my own notes. So in the Slavic Chronicle, Belabog isn't even actually mentioned. Belabog's actually constructed as an opposition to Chernobog in a later source. So the idea, so a lot of people agree that they are gods of good and evil, but they're likely later created pseudo-deities, where Chernabog is associated with the Christian devil, and Belobog is therefore associated with God in a way that could kind of Christianize pagan worship. There's no consensus about the status of them in Slavic mythology and academic communities. However, there's about 4 different primary views. There's the idea that they're pseudo-deities that are not Christian and not pagan, and were created as a way to cross the two of them. There's the idea that they are potentially the names of Christian figures with Christian origins who were identified with pagan gods. There's the idea that these are actually traditional Slavic deities, and we just don't have a whole lot of proof. And then it's the idea that they are just an epithet of Satan and Christians writing, and Belobog arose later in secondary literature, which is actually what is supported by the literature of them. In the 19th century, this idea led to some people saying that there was a dualistic belief in Slavic religion, that perhaps the Slavs came from the Iranians, and Chernabog and Belobog were maybe Ahriman and Ormuzd from Zoroastrian mythology. Alexander Afansiev and Alexander Famitsyn considered the eastern counterpart of Belobog to be Belon the forest spirit, but no scholars really agree that dualism is important in Slavic religion today. Many researchers consider Chernabog to just be a personification of bad luck, if nothing else, rather than a pseudo-identity or the devil himself, or something like deliberately malicious per se. Some say it's possible that Helmald, the person who originally wrote some stuff down about it, says that he heard something about how the Slavs believed in malevolent spirits or fate personified, and then combined it with his own Christian views of a devil character. But we don't actually know if that's true. Ironically, this means that one of the most solid depictions we have of him is the one from Disney.
So if you're familiar with Chernabog and you're not Russian...
It's because of Disney. Because Disney has a character named Chernabog, because this is Chernobog. This is Chernabog that appears in the symphonic poem Night on Bald Mountain, which was written by a Russian composer. He's depicted as a giant winged demon who summons the souls of the dead, and a selection of Fantasia was based on this work. The character of Chernabog also appears in several different movies and TV series, as well as books and comics. He's a member of the Balto-Slavic pantheon in the Marvel Universe and a member of the Winter Guard. And he's in Neil Gaiman's Gods thing, like American Gods or something. It'll probably say so in here. I want to say, because I think that's what it is. Unless I'm wrong. It might not be American Gods. It might be something else. Could have sworn, like, I'm fairly certain that he was in, like, American Gods, the TV show, 2017 to 2021, series adaptation of Neil Gaiman novel of the same name. So yeah, American Gods. He also appears in Once Upon a Time. That, besides Disney, that one of those is Disney. That's where he gets most of his fame.
Is the American Gods.
Yeah. The irony here is that if you look at who you believe to be kind of the Balto-Slavic pantheon, there are actually a few deities that people ascribe to a pantheon, like Perun, the chief of the gods, who's sort of like a thunder deity, and in opposition with him is Veles, who's associated with the underworld. But even in the writings we have on those two, neither of them is characterized as good and evil, and they are not in opposition to one another. Once again, there's a goddess of winter, disease, and death named Marzana or Marana, and she's worshipped out of fear and the hope to survive, but she's part of the circle of life. So it's good and bad and everything in between, all personified. And then, of course, marching into our last 3 names that were given to me, we're back to Japanese history with Fujiwara no Akimitsu. We discussed him very, very briefly a little while ago. There's not much more to say about him. He was a Heian bureaucrat, held position of minister to the left, and he tried to get Ashiya Dōman. Well, he did get Ashiya Dōman to curse Fujiwara no Michinaga because of the dishonor done to his daughter. Then you have Hieda no Are.
I'm gonna guess you have very little to say on this one.
I have more than Fujiwara no Akimitsu.
Fair enough.
Hieda no Are is one of the driving forces for the completion of the Kojiki, which is the Japanese chronicle of myths, legends, genealogies, and oral traditions, as well as any other information they thought was important in 712. We know because of that they were active in the late 7th and early 8th dynasties, but we don't know much about them other than a small passage in the Sekhie that suggests they might have been a member of the Sarume no Kimi family, tracing ancestry to Ame no Uzumi no Mikoto. And scholars have sometimes theorized that Are might have been a woman, given a traditionally male title. This comes from the fact that members of the family of Sarume no Kimi are renowned as shrine maidens in the court of the emperors, and some of the writing within the Kojiki appears to have been written by a woman. During the 7th century, Emperor Tenmu wanted to correct inconsistencies within national history recorded in the T.H.E and the Kyuji, which were the previously existing chronicles that disagreed in some ways. And so he basically commissioned Are, who according to tales at the time was 28, to memorize both of them and complete a work that encompassed both of them and did not conflict. And that's how we get the Kojiki.
Any fun notes that you want to note on the Kojiki?
I've read the Kojiki, and we've used the Kojiki several times.
I pointed out because there's Are is a character that comments in my streams have been relentlessly pointing out we probably should have covered when we did Yamato Takeru. Kojiki.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
So this is, if Are seems out of place here, I'm like going 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon to get this character into a video.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, Hieda no Are could have been incorporated into any number of videos we've done on Japanese servants already, because I've used the Kojiki in like the Yoshitsune. I used it in anything to do with Heike. I used it in like the Seishona. Like I used Kojiki throughout a bunch of stuff, right? Like it was used in the Tamamo no Mai video because it's one of those like chronicles of Japan that just details a bunch of different things, you know, like the Nihon Shoki, you know, or the other one, Kojaku Monogatari. And the last name you gave me is Yaso Magatsuhi. Yaso Magatsuhi is one of the Shinto deities associated with calamity, curses, defilement, and evil occurrences. He's known as the Mishap Bringer, and he is the Shinto god born when Izanagi cured the impurities of Yomi, the underworld. And according to the Nihongi, when Izanagi was bathing in the Tachibana River, this is when he was born. The Kojiki, however, says that he was the first of 2 Shinto deities born in this matter, the second being Omagatsuhi. And then their birth would also have been the production of the rectification of sort of the evils in Yomi. Between the presence of Chernobog and Yaso Magatsuhi and Omagatsuhi, I kind of see where you're going here.
No.
But It's Papalotl is fucking with me.
I promise you, the connection you're seeing doesn't exist.
Oh, that's not helpful?
Yeah.
What's this weird... Oh, okay, you've got a weird image thing there.
Yeah, so we're just going to get into it. Let me introduce you to a character named Castor of Limbo.
Oh! Hot.
So this is the villain of Shimosa, and if you remember back to when we did Musashi, you probably don't, I said that Musashi at one point saw a villain and said, "Oh no, he's hot," after telling him to get out here and show his ugly mug. This is the character that she said that to. Man,
and I really just echoed her sentiments perfectly.
Castor of Limbo is a mysterious foe encountered during FGO's Shimosa chapter. His identity remains obscured for most of the chapter, and he spends most of his time corrupting other heroic spirits, turning them into demonic versions of themselves who would go on killing sprees across the Japanese countryside. His goal is to serve the will of who he claimed to be Satan. He would ultimately identify himself as Abe no Seme before being cut down by Musashi.
Okay.
Now, it probably goes without saying that this is a complete and total lie.
Yeah, no,
this man is not Abe no Seme, is in fact Ashiya Dōman.
Okay.
And his master is not in fact Satan, but a mysterious entity known as the Outer God.
Okay.
He is part of a group that we will see again called the Apostles of the Foreign God, who act as the second part of FGO's primary, or is the primary antagonist of FGO's second part. More so than even the Cryptors in that story. I'll say this, there are 6, but kind of 8 of them in total. One of those kind ofs is Koyanskaya, who is not an apostle, but more of a collaborator. Mm-hmm. The others I will avoid spoiling too hard right now. One I will talk about, so spoiler alert for Trom for anyone who hasn't played it, One of them is the young Moriarty, who was sent to monitor Chaldea. These apostles are not strictly speaking on the side of the Cryptors or Chaldea, but serve as architects of a grander plan, with 3 of them going to each side. Limbo here, whose identity should be more or less obvious, Dōman, is one of the apostles aligned with the Cryptors.
Okay. Caster?
So he appears to be a caster here, and when you fight him in chapter, he's kind of a... We don't have to watch this entire video, but he's kind of a weird ghost. I do recommend watching the intro here. The intro is kind of cool.
Okay.
6番目宮本武蔵キャスターリンボ一切長老美しき肉食獣いざ尋常に勝負
So yeah, this is his boss fight. There's not much to it. It's a giant ghost boss fight, but he has unique sprites. I thought I'd show you.
Yeah. Oh, so that's the unique sprite?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So then we're on to Ashiya Dōman.
Yes, the actual. And he's revealed to be an alter ego.
Okay, I was going to say, he's not a caster because of the way you said it.
Yeah. So...
Oh no, he's hot. I'm not... Oh no, he gets hotter. Oh no, he gets hotter. I feel like I need a minute.
You're going to see it in a second, but he has a costume that's called Morning Glory.
Well, he's naked here. Like that. He's naked. I can see his hip. He's just naked. Oh no, he's hot. Adorable. Glory be.
So as we established, he's an apostle aligned with the Cryptors. All of the apostles aligned with the Cryptors, at least, are alter egos. We do get some regard that all apostles are alter egos, but the ones aligned with the Cryptors are... They're not all of the apostles are going to be alter egos when we see them, but the ones aligned with the Cryptors are solidly alter egos. What's up?
I was just reading in the background, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, the nickname, the beautiful carnivore could eat me any day. It's my first thought.
Where's Guy Bold?
No, don't you dare. That hurt last time. I've built my brain brick by brick.
So Dōman here was formed by combining Ashiya Dōman as the base with Eats Papalotl,
okay,
Chernabog, and then, just because keeping it in the family, Fujiwara no Akimitsu.
Okay.
Like, one of those things makes sense. The other two... Okay.
Yeah.
He would be meant to serve as a force that would sabotage the other Lost Belts, other than the Atlantic one, to ensure that the Atlantic one, the Greek gods, would win and be supreme, as it was the one most in line with the foreign gods' plan. He would actually succeed in undermining the Indian Lost Belt by convincing Arjuna Alter to speed up the Mahayuga. He convinced Arjuna that it would let him create a more perfect world, but it ultimately led to the world slowly killing itself. However, in truth, he was working his own schemes in direct defiance to the alien god in the background. Secretly, he was trying to create his own Lost Belt by corrupting a singularity. Shimosa was his first attempt at doing this, ultimately failing thanks to Chaldea's intervention. But afterward, he took root in another singularity based around the Heian period, where he would create a Holy Grail war of only casters and masters comprised of the era's greatest warriors like Gintoki, Tsuna, and Raiko. Here he would meet his final end, where he would overextend by trying to become a beast, but failing due to lacking a major prerequisite for it. Beasts require a love for humanity, something Dōman distinctly lacks.
Okay.
He would die begging for his life and bargaining. And he is killed by an, at this point, wholly unsympathetic master of Chaldea. He'd then proceed to show up some weeks later, summoned by Chaldea's summoning system, where he'd proceed to pretend that he has no recollection of the events that had transpired before, and try to smooth his way into the Master's good graces. This would ultimately fail, especially as he was caught up as the villain of 2 summer evil schemes in a row. The first was the mentioned in the last video, collaboration with good old Christopher Columbus himself. Enough said. The second was an attempt to help Ibuki create an eternal summer paradise to trap the Master in at the cost of Scotty's life.
Oh.
Both times he'd end up punished in methods conceived by Murasaki Shikibu based on the notes of Abe no Seimei. First summer, he was punished by being stuck into a jar and buried in the sand at the beach.
Ouch.
The second summer did not have a noted punishment, but supposedly Murasaki had multiple more prepared for him. Dōman has made many enemies who still hold a grudge against him to this day. But it is notable that Dōman has a particular weakness. He has no idea how to deal with Sekhie Shonagon. She is a level of chaotic that Dōman can't cope with. She doesn't see him as a threat and knows all the best ways to annoy him and make him want to hide. I think in the most recent summer event in NA, I believe she literally steals his clothes while he's in the bathhouse, leading him to running across the rooftops naked and getting arrested.
I'll say nothing, because nothing I could say would be appropriate for camera. Except God bless Say.
Do you love Say More?
I do love Say More. Okay, I have no relationships. And only 2 skills listed.
Are there really no relationships
There's
listed?
nothing.
Scroll up. I think I might know why. Click into Limbo. I entered the wrong one. So there's 2, because there's actually a living Ashiya Dōman that is in the story. There's not really that much to go over here.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to do some quick reading, you can.
Dude, I was so confused.
These are probably interesting to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I looked up images of It's Papalotl. Okay. I mean, this is one of those things where, like, Chernobog isn't really depicted, per se, so I have no, like, stake in it, but it looks cool, you know?
And Safu is the minister of the left.
Valid. Okay, nothing here I'm not going to see later. Alright. I was so confused. You were talking, and I couldn't see any of that, and I couldn't, like, read, because normally I'm, like, reading along, or, like, a little bit. Oof, okay. Oh.
Yeah, he made a lot of enemies.
Okay, alright. Alright. My nemesis, Seimei. That man is indubitably my fated one.
A little bit of a hatred yaoi going on here, maybe?
Are we going to see Abe no Seimei today?
Not today, but fans have been asking for a while, and they've been hinting at him for a long time, to the point where he's had voiced roles in FGO, but has never made an actual physical appearance.
Oh, okay, so we don't actually know. I thought you meant we'd see him in another video, and I was like, at this point, I've gone over his life like 3 times.
Yeah, like, we don't know what he looks like. He might come up again in the future, and we'll just recover Abe no Seimei and do a full new video, I think.
Yeah. Well, we could try.
We could try.
Yeah. Minamoto no Raiko, to think that even after becoming a shadow, you have not faded. I am surprised to see that even when you are reduced to a shadow, your karma still follows you. I pity you. I see how it is. I can see myself being on friendlier terms with this version. That was Ushigozen. Ah, Raiko's 4 heavenly kings. Did you know, even proud warriors have ceased to exist in this age. What a shame. My Fujiwara no Kaoruko Dono, or perhaps you'd prefer I address you as Murasaki Dono. By the way, Kaoruko Dono, has Seimei said anything to you? Nothing? Nothing at all? I see. Seimei's pupil, how I pity her. I dread to imagine the scenes of her training. What? She says it wasn't like that. Huh? Are you certain? Say, Shonagon Dono, I beg you to stop. Please do not attempt to disrobe me. I am not a beast disguised as a human. I am merely a beautiful carnivore. I said stop. I see. That woman has fulfilled her true wishes and reached her end. Oh, where did that woman disappear to? So she achieved her greatest wish and reached her end, huh? That was Miyamoto Musashi. Okay. Kato Danzo Dono, do you have business with me? I can't help but be rooted to the ground when you leer at me like that. The poor puppet I manipulated in the 7 duels of the heroic spirit swordmasters. Her wailing voice was truly, truly great. How comforting would it be to hear her sobbing as she begs for her life? Fuma Kotaro Dono, the leader of the Fuma ninja clan. I see. So he is Does he want something from me? Surveillance? I do not know why he would need to do something like that for me, but he may do as he pleases. Alright, the next is Kichi Hogan. Would you like to look at that? Another familiar face. But answer me, you are technically not a shadow, am I correct? A similar situation to Skahak Dono? Well, I've seen such exceptions numerous times before. Pardon, what could you possibly mean by are you counting yourself as one? Kichi Hogan, what a surprise to see you haven't changed in the slightest. Okay. Tamama no Mai, your beauty persists in the past, the present, and even the future, without caring about others' business. You are always beautiful, so much that it is repulsive. My nemesis is bound by deep links to this woman. She means nothing more or nothing less to me. Do you not believe me? My nemesis is linked past,
Because remember our Tom on the Maya video, it is just Abe no Seimei
yeah.
that got her.
Yep. Ho ho, Taigong Wang Dono. Wonderful. I would love to discuss the secrets of our sage techniques. My philosophy key is rather insignificant in comparison, but I will spare you the details. You appear to be in high spirits today, Koyanskaya Dono. Haha, indeed, it's written all over your face. Wait. Preposterous. I am Ashiya Dōman. I am but a simple priest in Onmyoji. Limbo, what are you speaking of? My nemesis is bound by deep links to this woman's look-alike. Master, if I may, it's about Nikitich Dono. Every time I attempt to release my Shikigami, she becomes infuriated and attacks me. Sigh, this is quite the dilemma. Pardon? What is it I'm using my Shikigami for? Why, it's for Koyanskaya Dono. Oh dear, I've been caught by the heroes. Off I go. Okay, this is directed towards Zhuge Liang, Taigong Wang, Sima Yi, Chen Gong, Zhang Jue, and Zhu Fu. Wise individuals from other lands. Surely you must be practitioners of sage and Taoist techniques. Very intriguing. I will have you know that I also... maybe some other time. Okay, this one's directed towards Jeanne d'Arc, Alter Santa Lily, Nursery Rhyme, Jack the Ripper, and Paul Bunyan, who is apparently not Paul Bunyan anymore. What? You want to play with me? Very well. Let me first create a life-sized Shikigami. You may then dismantle it all you like. Why are you pulling my hair, Nursery Rhyme? Playing dangerous games is forbidden in Chaldea? It's time to play house? Very well. Then I request to play the role of the mother-in-law. I love him. Alessandro di Cagliostro. Count Cagliostro? Thanks for informing me. I have never met such a man. And then nothing on Abigail Williams, but there's definitely was something, supposed to be there. Okay, now I can go look at abilities. Actually. Okay. I'm just gonna... Ooh. Alright.
So, Dōman possesses an ability to summon Shikigami who can attack his opponents for him. He is a master of curses capable of inflicting unhealable wounds that can even twist the core of a person's being. By inflicting what's called a curse of annihilation, he can force his target into a genocidal state where they lash out against the world because of their worst aspects, whilst also being granted a level of immortality. This is done by making the spirit disconnected from the body, making its body an effective corpse. It can be done on really any living being, not just servants, and the only way of killing it is to sever its spiritual connection between the body and its now remote spirit. He can also create and inhabit remote fake bodies that send signals to the real bodies, meaning he dies a lot and then doesn't die. He is a cockroach in human form.
Okay, so territory creation, item construction, yeah, that's the Shikigami. Hedonism, yeah, that makes sense. Gleefully trampling on the mundane niceties of people's lives. Ridicule cat, alright, black life. Curse of Dōman. Okay, this obsidian butterfly one, so this is eats papalotl, so it says steals the target's power, making them weak. That's relating, so the story from manuscript 1558 and the story about her taking the form of the female after transforming from the deer, she has the man that's transformed from the serpent drink blood, which then makes him weak, and then he is killed. Okay. So he's got Noble Phantasm, Maelstrom, Evil Spirit, Left Minister.
Sorry, I saw something here and I want to quickly... I'll go ahead and... so Well, I'll come back to that in a second when we're doing I'll look at it when we're doing the NP here. But
Yeah.
so Maelstrom, evil spirit left minister. Dōman releases a citywide curse that decays everything in its area and ruins the lives of all within its range.
Mm-hmm. So the person who designed Ashiya Dōman also designed Yagyu Munenori, Matsudaru Nobutsuna, Itsukali, Osalome, and Cuauhtemoc. So they've done a lot for the Mesoamerican singularity that I haven't seen. Okay, there's something down here.
So if you go all the way down, that alternate version is the human Ashiya Dōman. It's a little complicated, but
Oh yeah, human. Okay. And then these are this is. Ooh, I wish you'd said something about his name being Rakshasa King.
what's so special about that?
Rakshasa are a figure of mythology. I know about Rakshasa because I've studied them before, but Rakshasa are a form of demon that originates from kind of like Eastern Europe to sort of Persia-ish, I think. It's somewhere in that area, like the Eastern Europe to Persia triangle. And pretty sure they're very famous because they hide their hearts and then commit evils, and you can only get rid of them if you find their hearts and destroy them. It's kind of like the inspiration in some ways for liches. Okay, Hindu mythology. So I was a Persia towards Hindu. They're a type of demon or goblin. They're shapeshifters. Yeah. I was gonna say because I've looked them up before and I've seen them, but they're present in like some Eastern European folklore as well, which is interesting.
Well, if you want to take a minute, the Oban Ashiya Dōman also has a bunch of names in it that are connected to other hero. I wouldn't click into any of the links, but there are some names that are tied to specific. I don't know if any of those ring a bell. But they look like Japanese names.
The Hashojin,
Yeah.
Tawara Tota, Suzuka Gozen. I don't know. I mean, I know Taira no Kagekiyo.
But I mean, like before the actual heroic spirit names, there's
There's
names.
other names, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if those ring any bells for you. Like what?
Hyobi sounds familiar. Hyobi. So does Taisai. And Daishogun. But the thing that Hyobi reminds me of and Saikyo are the tailed beasts from Naruto, and I don't know if that's... I've never looked in to see if the tailed beasts are based on something specific other than... I mean, each of them is based on a specific type of, like, thing, but I don't...
I have a feeling it's a reference to a specific Japanese story.
Yeah, so I don't... I don't... Well, here it is. It's the 8 Onmudo general gods. So that's probably their names. And I'm not well versed in Onmudo. Okay.
What I do.
But I want to say we've actually talked about Rakshasa before in another video. Well, I think it was one of the Indian videos. The Indian servants. We've actually talked about them before.
So yeah, I do have an introductory video for Dōman.
This one?
Yep.
So, is this servant new?
Relatively, like 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Now. Is there something that's ringing a bell for you? I might know what it is.
Something just did, and you would not. No, because this is definitely something different. There's a book series that I read that uses Rakshasa and T.H.E together because they have some similarities in folklore. And then we've discussed T.H.E in another video. I know we have because I remember bringing it up. But T.H.E are sort of like a Slavic, like, shapeshifter and demon.
See, I thought the connection was the Shikigami.
No.
A character in what's that anime called? We watched it for the channel.
Yeah, Nurarhion Namago.
Yeah. One of the characters is an Onmyoji and does a couple similar things.
Yeah, from the school of Onmyoji and stuff. But I've seen Shikigami in... There's Shikigami in Fairy Tail. You just haven't gotten there yet. I've seen Shikigami in hundreds of anime. Same as Jujutsu.
秋光殿、お目覚めよ。来たれ、暗黒の帳。太陽はここに生まれ変わる。狂乱怒涛、悪霊作。
Oh no, he's hot.
And this is his actual, like, the big Raksha King boss fight.
Oh, okay.
It's a Herc solo video, by the way. So
Valid.
this person's just gonna have Herc punch it to death.
I love it. Simple.
Fun detail about this boss fight, that it's actually a kaiju fight as well, because you have Kentoki's giant armor fighting in the background as well.
Yeah. Fun.
Just fuck you, laser.
All right, you've got a name I don't recognize.
So next is going to be a character from Fate called Tsuchi Mikado Yasuhiro. I actually did triple check to make sure this is not based on a historical figure before sending you the list of names. He's not, but he is the connection to it. He has a connection to another character. Yes, this is a bit of a hard right turn. Tsuchi Mikado is a direct descendant of Abe no Seimei, which is my justification for bringing him up here. He is the one behind the Grail War, or the Waxing Moon Ritual, from Samurai Remnant. It was his plan to hijack the servants of the war partway in to make an easy win for himself and his caster class servant. This man never makes it to the end of the war, but his goal was to use the Grail to restore his family's name and to its former glory. What photo were you chuckling at?
What do you think?
Oh yeah, the Ibuki side episode.
Yeah. What else would I chuckle at?
So his servant was Caster, and we're going to get to it in a second, but Heida no Are.
All right. Heida no Are.
This is the single most obscure servant Fate has ever produced from a historical figure, in my opinion.
I was going to say, yeah, this one's pretty, especially because I assume they're going just Heida no Are. Like, this is Heida no Are.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's nothing combined here.
Nope.
And, like, granted, I, for one, approve and adore of the idea that they want to, like, elevate someone like Heida no Are, who's really the only thing that puts them into sort of historical fame is the fact that they are the one who assembled, like, a major sort of, like, chronicle of history, right? Because I think for all that we sort of aggrandize and kind of consider, like, all these historical figures sort of infamous and famous, very often we don't really consider the people that are writing this stuff down and documenting it, other than, yes, Pliny wrote a natural history, right? But, like, you don't see Pliny as a servant, you know, in FGO or something like that. And so for me, like, Heida no Are, a historian, right? This is great. We have very few characters in the game who could be considered historians, per se.
It'd be fun if Fate played that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But he seeks the Waxing Moon in order to to find proof of his own existence. Although he is an observer, like he functionally is just an observer, wholly focused on seeing the conflict through its end.
Why? Why is it just Deidara?
What?
Yeah.
I can't see
Hang on. Okay, I'll make it bigger.
you.
It's a Naruto character that you will likely never meet at this point. But he's got hands on his hands. He's got mouths on his hands. Okay, sorry.
No, and feel free to scroll down. There probably some artwork and some like little videos here. So
I mean, that's cool as shit. He's so small, but it's cool as shit. Ooh. Yeah, that's right. Beat the crap out of whatever the fuck that is. Oh, it's the other dude that I like.
Shiemon.
Yeah. Once again, cool as shit. Okay.
So, ability-wise, he's actually considerably weak even by caster standards. He lacks a good territory creation or item construction skill. He has them, but they're really weak. And he can't use magecraft. His primary means of fighting are by summoning mythical monsters from Japan, primarily a winged eyeball familiar that he uses as a foot soldier. His real power is in his NP.
Mm-hmm.
His noble phantasm is called the Puppet Playground. This is a reality marble, actually, that renders all mystery null. All magecraft is based on mystery, including that which holds servants together. So this results in servants being considerably weakened within the reality marble, making them weaker than human. The only servant seemingly immune from this is Takeru, due to his connection to the Kojiki, which acts as the foundation of this reality marble. The other noble phantasm is called Invoke the Demigod, Yasagatsuhi.
Yasamagatsuhi.
Thank you. Heida no Are can summon the demigod within his reality marvel. The beast, when summoned to fight servants, will be deadly against any single servant in here, just because of how weakened the servants are.
Respectfully, his character design is really cool, and no wonder it's the same character designer as Arjuna Alter, and Karna, and Cha-Cha.
So are we going to ignore that you skipped over Thomas Edison, the Preza King himself?
Oh, I skipped over a lot of characters in that list. I skipped over so many characters in that list. So
these two are actually the same video, but I wanted to give you the ability to just close one after you've seen a little bit of it.
Okay.
Because there are two phases. You might want to just skip ahead a little, if that's my bad.
Respectfully, my Wi-Fi doesn't appreciate the skipping ahead. Especially on a 4.5-hour video.
I should have skipped ahead. I have my third spot. Okay, just keep skipping ahead because you will see the reality marble pulled out once they win this fight. So.
My god, it was a little easier. Just gonna skip to the reality marble. You could have just told me to do that. That would load easier.
So this is the reality marble.
Okay, it looks really cool.
I'm sorry that I couldn't find this boss fight alone.
Okay. And then this is...
This is once he summons the...
Oh, yes, Omagatsuhi.
Yep.
Well, that's cool as shit. It's like a lion dragon. I mean, it is a lion dragon, but that's cool as shit.
This thing wrecked my shit way too many times.
Good. How many rice balls did you have to eat? Rice ball fights for the win. Alright.
Yeah.
So I've just got the one, right?
Yeah, just Ashiya Dōman.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Look at him with his little water? I think it's water. Like ice packs or something?
Something like that.
Oh, looks like the sign for... Hey, whatever. I like his Magatama. Oh, he's so cute. I love him. Good Lord. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yay. Love that. Jeez. His artist knows. Oh, so he's in a group of 3 for this, and that's Abby.
That's Medusa down there. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
so I do actually know everyone from the CE. So when we see the little extras, that should be pretty. Oh my God, I love it! I love it. They're playing golf. All of them.
Too.
I know everyone. There was no translation, but I know them all. Look at our little Indian servants hanging around. I love it. My God. I'm in heaven. It's as simple as that. I am genuinely in heaven. Alright. Vindication. Oh, look at that. They got a bunch of the fucking nasal bones actually correct in there. And the sutures on the temporal and zygomatic. Sorry. It was just so detailed. A skull split right in half. Perhaps it was his own skull, his very remains. He doesn't say anything. He will not say anything, even if asked. He will not say anything no matter how long you wait. He will only smile, nod ambiguously, and look in your direction. Okay. Dōman's talisman. Valentine's return gift from Ashiya Dōman. An enchanting talisman absolutely overflowing with curses. The eye design makes it quite charming. Get rid of it right the hell now, okay? Actually, maybe it's the opposite, and it's actually something good. A voice in the distance tells you that this is a positively dangerous line of thought. Or maybe it's just your imagination. Chaldea 11. Like Inazuma 11 or whatever. Yeah, it's soccer.
Probably the reference.
I think I know all those characters, right? No, I don't. I don't know 2 of them. Nobukatsu is there, though.
Yeah.
All right, I'll skip it. God damn, he's looking good. That looks so cool. With the high pony and everything and the... yes. Okay. All right, 6th anniversary. New York. Yeah. That's just a really cool image, especially because the 3 of them are all sort of like adorably drawn. All right. Power shot. We love this. Oh, it's voiced.
やや右にそれましたかな。どうにも精妙なスイングとまでは至らぬものですな。
ナイスショット。珍妙な見た目の割に堂々とした攻め筋ではないか、ドーマンとやら。さて、次はこちらの番だ。ちと無理めだが、ワンオンを狙ってみるか。パワータイプ2人とロングホールで飛距離を争うのは愚の骨頂。絡めてで勝負だね。腰も痛くなるし。
Hooked it a bit to the right. Not quite the exquisite swing I was going for. Hey, nice shot. Considering your curious appearance, you sure put a lot of power behind that swing, Dōman. Alright, my turn now. This might be ambitious, but I'm gonna try to reach the green in one stroke. It would be a fool's errand to try to compete with these 2 in terms of sheer power, especially in the long haul. Not to mention it would be murder on my poor back. Great figures from history enjoying a most modern sport on a clear sunny day. This may seem casual, but don't be fooled. None of them can help but give it their all when there's a competition to be won. I love them. Alright. Commentator of Flowers, and he's right in the background there. I think I've already seen this CE though, right?
Yeah, because of Merlin here.
Yeah. Because there's also nightingales there. And
then you don't know who that other person.
Yeah. But I probably went over it for Merlin, so.
We'll come back to it again in the future
Yeah.
anyways, so.
Alright, Heroic Spirit event attire. He's wearing lederhosen, which means I know that he's at Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest. I was correct. BRD. That's Rama, right?
Yep, you don't know the second
Yeah,
person.
I don't know the third person. And it's not translated and it's voiced, so skip it?
Yeah, you can skip for now.
Yeah.
We'll be back to the other person.
That's fine. That's all of it then.
Yep. So Dōman.
Yeah, Dōman.
Or my favorite nickname of his Dōman.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Scream his name.
I mean, that's the name he gave during one of the summer events.
I love it. Great. Fantastic.
Oh, here's a fun fact. Every servant has a damage sound. Dōman's is like, oh. So people got like stacked like 12 curses on him or something like that, which leads to him taking like 12 pieces of damage in a row. So you just get him making that awful sound 12 times in a row in rapid succession.
I love it.
I wish I could find a video of that cleanly, but I can't right now.
I love it. So do you have a hint for our next servant?
Yes, I need a moment though. That's the best I'm doing for you guys.
Okay. All right, we'll see you next time. Happy Halloween.